Now, this is the core that I want to tell you guys in this, little segment. This is basically how you set up a web page using AJAX. You pretty much set up your web page so that all the static data is right there, and then you go in and you add empty divs, and they don't have to be divs, but they're the easiest to work with because you can stick anything inside a div basically. Just go ahead and add a div. And this is how I like to add it, although some people use a single one, and that's perfectly fine. Just go ahead and give an ID of something like div movies. So basically, this empty div is where the dynamic content is going to go. Say you are linked up to a database and you had different movies for different users. Well, this part would be the same, however their movies, which are all different, that's the part that would be different and changing. So that is why you need empty divs wherever you have dynamic elements. Now another thing I want to mention is this. If you're saying, okay, is it really necessary to put this on load? I mean, why can't I just go ahead and put all my JavaScript right here? It'll just be all in the same file, nice and neat. It'll work out perfectly, right? Well, that works out for a lot of JavaScript applications, but not this one. And let me tell you why. Now, if you know pretty much the basics about computer programming, they work from top to bottom. Now they go, this line executes, then this line, this line, this line, until you get to the bottom. So if you go ahead and say something like this, say we're going to reference this div right here, div movies. So we're going to put div movies and put the inner HTML equal to, a list of my favorite movies. Well, whenever we do that, we're going to get an error because remember, we're working top to bottom here. Whenever we set div movies equal to something, it didn't even come across this div tag right yet. So it doesn't even know that this div movies exists. So it's going to say, okay, you're trying to set this div movies equal to something. Is just like a freaking variable, or what is this? I didn't even discover this because I'm still way up here working. So that is one reason why we use this. Let me go ahead and tighten this back up. This create list, because then what happens is your entire web page loads. So this is all done in pretty much JavaScript knows all about every single tag that you had created, every single div, and then in your JavaScript file, which will be over here, you can go ahead and edit them, make them dynamic. So that is what I wanted to say. Make sure that you always use an onload function, because anything in here executes after your web page is loaded, and anything in here in the head, of course, executes before the body is loaded. Make sense? So now what I want to do is go ahead and, alright, I think I have everything good to go here. Now let's go ahead and create that movies JavaScript file. So go ahead and put file, save as, and I'll just go ahead and save this as movies JavaScript. And now what I want to do is function in, what I name this, create list. So now what it's going to do is it knows about all of these divs. Now in this function, once the web page is loaded, it's going to go over here and call this function. Pretty freaking sweet, huh? So let me go ahead and just, I guess inside this div we can just put like an unordered list or something of my movies. So let's go ahead and, since we're going to have kind of a big list, let's go ahead and make a variable s, which will stand for, just string. You can name it anything you want. And s is just going to be equal to, and this is going to be a really simple function. Just go ahead and put